Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Ali Kamenova Yoga. I'm Ali, and today we're doing I'm doing a little talk on a little deeper on transitions. I'll title it probably menopause or whatever, but it's really not just that. It's really about our minds and deep observations I've been having, or contemplations I've had surrounding popular culture or social media culture, which is its own class of culture. So today's talk, I'm gonna start it with a Hafez quote: "The words you speak become the house you live in." That thought is an extremely important observation I have had. Especially, I've always understood it. This is why there is how manifestation works, because anything we believe in or we speak it into reality. Words are in essence spells. When we spell, we cast spells, so we have to be very careful with our words, and we have to be very careful with our beliefs. With beliefs, it's even more complex, because beliefs are often subconscious or unconscious, so we're not consciously aware of having those beliefs, holding those beliefs. And when we do, we don't realize that they're just beliefs. We think they're reality, because we filter reality through our beliefs. So if we believe something to be true due to how we were raised, our upbringing, our culture, our society, the predominant belief, the only belief, we assume that to be true. I feel that that's what has happened. If you looked into previous societies, pre-flood, reset societies, and that's a big dive there, you see how much culture have changed. The lifespan, even in the Bible, there's references to really old people. So people definitely live longer than 100, but because our belief and set belief is that we only are genetically programmed to live to a certain age, I feel that that belief creates our reality. With same thing I'm seeing has become of birth. The way birth is a spontaneous, unavoidable event. I just saw Yolande Norris Clark, I think that's her full name, Bauhaus wife, on Instagram. She was saying it's a spontaneous, unavoidable event. You can't escape it. Any person that has been pregnant has given birth. But because we have been indoctrinated with so much fear and trauma around birth, we create really complicated births. And that, to me, has become clearer and clearer. And it's a very weird thought to have, to realize that maybe that is not how birth was meant to be. It was just our indoctrination into believing that created that, because we create the birth of our belief system, of our predominant fears. So if we have a lot of fear around birth becomes complicated. What we have different from animals is that we have that type of rational mind with belief systems, with logic, with thoughts, and we can pour into it a lot of beliefs, a lot of lies, a lot of visions, projections. And from the predominant belief that we have, and we usually will pick up the predominant belief in society, we're going to project that. So it becomes as real can be. Meaning that becomes reality, and such a solid reality that it's ludicrous to even suggest that it comes from a belief, right? Because we are now in the loop of belief, and belief creates itself, and we're all collectively creating it. And if someone escapes the belief system and says, I can do birth a different way, we're all gonna outcast her because she is breaking the rules, she's a black sheep, and she is, all these adjectives attached to her. So that, now I see it kind of building up into the menopause world. We're starting to rewrite history, because I'm starting to see everybody saying it. And at first I kind of considered it as well. Everybody was saying, oh my God, women have been suffering in silence. Why no one ever said anything? Why was perimenopause not even mentioned? They must have all been in such deep pain, and no one has said a word. I mean, my mother didn't say anything to me, etc. Now, that's not to say that our previous 1, 2, 3, 4 generations actually didn't experience this, because I do believe they did. But I do believe the reason why it never became a popular term is not because women are oppressed and suppressed, which there is an aspect of male-dominated birthing culture and male-dominated menopause culture, I'm sure, even though all the women now that push HRT are women, all the doctors who are pushing HRT are women. But I believe that it wasn't symptomatic for many reasons. A cleaner world, maybe belief system, maybe food, maybe just all the factors that go into our world. But at the same time, the more we attach to how difficult it will be, and the more we expect it, and the more we also have expectations to stay young forever, or youthful, or a certain belief, the more we cling on to something, the harder it is to let go of it and become something else. And menopause, I've been sharing a bunch of stuff on Instagram. There is an account, Healing Womb Wisdom, I want to say. I don't deeply follow those accounts, so it's hard for me to say other names, but sometimes I see something and I just share it, or someone shares it with me, I share it, etc. I follow certain accounts, but not to the T. But she was saying, and I've heard this many times, that the hormones that drive menopause are... Okay, I had to pull it up so that I give her the proper shout out. So it is Womb Wisdom with, one second, it is Womb Wisdom with Shavita, the 2 secret hormones they never taught you about, because if they did, women would remember their power. The 2 hormones rise after menopause. They hold the key to your oracle power. If you felt more intuitive, visionary, or electric lately, it's not in your head, it's in your hormones. Science calls them reproductive hormones. Spirit calls them remembrance codes. Follicle stimulating hormone, which is the FSH, which raises in perimenopause, and luteinizing hormone LH. Those go up, and they're released in the pineal gland, so they're considered light hormones. We're basically transferring light. That's why the light cycle, the circadian rhythm, is everything we need in order to stay. And food is also a light code. So again, food is condensed light. Especially fruit is very much that. Before menopause, FSH ripened your eggs, LH triggered ovulation, the release of life. You were birthing life. After menopause, they rise again permanently, not to make you ovulate, but to awaken your vision. You are birthing light. FSH is the light bringer. It photostimulates your pineal gland, connecting your womb and third eye. It carries light codes through your body. LH, fire of intuition. It activates your pituitary, bridging womb, throat, and intuition. It ignites your truth and frequency, etc., etc. You become an oracle. It's Womb Wisdom with Shavita. I have heard the same kind of conversation from don't tell me I forgot her name. I will have to remember. It's another perimenopause doctor that I really liked her work. It's more spiritual kind of information than just kind of the medical stuff. I'll have to remember her name. One second. Okay, I had to refresh myself because I haven't really listened much in 2 years, since I kind of dug into it and I wrap my head around what is said online and what the recommendation is, so that I can form my own approach and understanding and spiritual understanding, etc. It's Christian Nordrup. She's great. She puts a little of that I just read, same kind of wisdom into it. We are awakening to a different type of birthing. We become a wise woman. So all the stuff about witches, part of it may be negative. Maybe there was a certain percentage of women that misused either power or used too much, what is the word, kind of magic, to where they get mixed up with in history women who had the power to understand nature and to use it for healing, for birthing, for assistance, for helping, etc. Because we are meant to really understand our environment and use it. Everything that is around us is of divine nature. I'm speaking of nature in particular, not man-made stuff. And it is for us to really deeply feel and use, to feel plants and use them for healing, for nourishment, for assistance, etc. And I know in Christianity they say to not use them for symbolism or magic, and I agree with that. I mean, things have to be used with the intention of goodness. Not with the intention to change destiny or anything like this. Everything is done with prayer. So that's where probably we have witches that are just women who understand healing, and witches that maybe use magic, and those are used as the same word, but they weren't the same energy, because some of those women were helping. Were the ones that were assisting birth or helping in transitional times or in developing wisdom, etc. I feel a lot of history has been lost in all this kind of wiping out history, because every time in history a big shift happens, like the burning of Rome or other such events, history is lost. Libraries are lost, books are lost, wisdom is lost, and wisdom is rewritten, and it becomes his story. So now I see how with menopause we're starting to change the language around it. Women suffer, there's so much suffering, it's not a natural event, you can replace everything that your body is starting to lose, every hormone. And I don't want to say that I'm against hormone replacement therapy or any of those. I just want to change the language around it, and the tools that you find that help you, it's all fine. I don't have a problem with any of the tools being used in any particular case, because case by case we have our situation. But I just want to bring about, because you decide for yourself what you're going to do with your health, with how you approach it, with how you manage it and all of that. But I just want to change the language around it and not to make it as a medical condition that hormones are dropping, because they're meant to drop. We are meant to have a little, from my understanding, bones are meant to be less dense because we become lighter as we get older. There is biological reasons for those things. And also, if we all jump onto hormone replacement therapy, there is a cost to it. But even if we're able to avoid any negative side effects, to me it's very medical to constantly test my body and adjust it with like someone external to me, when I believe that things can flow very well from within. For the most part, again, I'm not a zealot on that. It's not like no one should ever use those tools. They're amazing tools. It's just very strange that it's pushed to the degree that it is. And also the language is changing, where we are treating every symptom that a woman in her 30s, 40s, 50s has as menopause, rather than maybe it is a health condition, maybe it is too much blue light at night. For me, when we moved to this place, it had inside a lot of light bulbs, and I don't believe they were incandescent because that was outlawed in many states. So I think it was messing with me, and the stress of moving and all of that. You feel a change. Is it menopause, or is it something to look at your lifestyle? So when I changed my light bulbs, I got on Vitex, some other herbs, liver herbs, etc. Everything balanced, better than even, in my 20s and 30s. So we're meant to flow with some level of balance and also appreciation for the place we're at, because we are transforming, and a few of you commented that you're changing your role in society, and that is also very true. We're becoming from one persona that we identified for so long with. We have the grieving of the loss of that persona, whether we loved her or not, to another person. So we're closing a chapter, we're becoming someone else, someone new, someone. It's not just about our capacity, abilities, looks, etc. It's a lot more than that. It's our spiritual connection to the divine. And the longer we stay on earth, the more we're able to embody the lessons of the first part of our life when we're young and when we're had our reproductive power or whatever. So the point is to stay healthy and really in a surrendered place where we appreciate the divinity in all of it, and appreciate health from all the tools that are offered to us. Whether you choose the stuff that's being pushed, I think it has its application. So I don't want to sound like I'm against it. It's just something about it. It's coming off really aggressive for me. Now with working out, yes, building strength, building a strong body, lean body if you want to, if that's your build and that's where you feel good or energized. Diet, always. For me, if I don't follow my particular kind of high in water, fruit, sugar from fruit and honey diet, and now it's kind of trending. I see a lot of carnivore people or keto people moving to the sugar diet, and I've been watching some videos and it's so informative, because a high fat diet for too long and high protein puts people in a similar to diabetic state. It's a very stressful diet, high cortisol, stresses out the kidney, stresses the parasympathetic nervous system. So it slows down the thyroid function goes, metabolism drops, etc. So carbs are really important, and when we talk about carbs, we're talking about the best of the best. I mean, the freshest oranges there can be. For me here, I'm looking at my tree. We're talking about crystallized sunlight, literally crystallized color to the spectrum of the sunlight. High in water content, high in healthy carbohydrates. That for me has always been the thing that keeps me energetic. I sleep well, I feel well, periods on time, it's just strong, etc. I always have things to tweak, so it's not like we arrived and that's it. We're never gonna add another herb or do something new, but we have our base where we know how we feel good, and then we build up on it. Now with the classes, I am taking notes with all the trends with strength building. I'm kind of building it up a notch, the strength building. So I've gotten heavier weight and we're gonna incorporate it, but really I'm noticing that if I do an interval of lunges with some real heavy weights that you work up to, you build up to, I only need about 4 reps per side and maybe a couple of sets, and that just builds so much strength. And then I work on somatic, because trauma has to be shaken and worked out of the body, and somatic movement is pretty much the most superior form of healing, trauma healing things that can be contained in the body, residual trauma in the body. The body is the intelligence of our experience, the memory of our experience. So I am going to include, right now I'm kind of excited because I'm going to do classes that are very strength building, but also very, I'll include balancing the posture, some somatic elements, some circular stuff that is going to be epic. So it's going to be strength from many perspectives, and it's going to be building strength, building fluidity, building fluid strength, circular strength, breath, core, pelvic floor work, etc. So as usual, I'm gonna make the workouts holistic, not just focused on one thing or just on strength. It's going to be interesting and epic. So stay tuned, sign up for the classes, because my membership is extremely affordable, and flow daily. You have to move your body. It's really important. Your body flushes out all your negative thoughts, all your programs, it brings you back to an empty state daily, and you don't have to beat it down with really difficult stuff. That's also another way to really run the system down and cortisol high. But fluidity movement and somatic movement, where the movement is felt with kinesthetic intelligence. That's my new thing I watched about the 6 forms of intelligence, and one was kinesthetic intelligence, and I was like, this is my predominant way of processing reality. We all process through different forms, and I just really have learned to process through the body. It's interesting. Anyway, so that's my thought. I'm sure there's more to say about perimenopause, but we don't want to really change the language that it's a horrible event. Your body is falling apart, everything hurts, everything is just downhill, moods, sleep, etc. We don't want to attach to all these beliefs, because beliefs will create that. I feel that that's what's happened with human birth. We all believe that there is so much pain, trauma, and just horribleness with birth, and we create it because when we fear it, we move from fear out. And when you look at the animal kingdom, they don't have any beliefs attached to birth, and they just go into birth, they birth, and they're done. And we have this beauty as humans to really be conscious, but also we unconsciously can attach to beliefs, and then we create realities, and crazy realities we create. I know this is very weird for people to understand, that we can recreate the history, we can just through the belief system, because everything is mind. We all are a part of the divine mind. We are within the mind, and we are a fractal of the mind. So we have to be mindful of our words, and that is the quote I started with. Not only the words you speak, but also the beliefs you consciously or unconsciously have, they become the world you live in, the reality you create. So we have to really be mindful and flow and work things out of the body through workouts, I believe. Obviously I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't believe it, but you have to shake it out of the body, work it out, and move forward, and believe in the good outcome of things, that with help, with no help, with your own wisdom, you are continuously regenerating, rebuilding yourself. All right, I hope this was positive for you, and you get my complex thought there, and I'll see you with the classes. Namaste.